Hello soulmates, welcome back to the dart manipulation class. So today we are going to be creating the style line appearing on your screen. Okay, and to create this style line I would like to use a full front block pattern. If you notice, for the other ones we have been using half block, but for this one I want to use a full block because of the kind of style line that we are about to create. Okay, now if you notice the style line appearing on your screen, you would notice that there is a line touching. We have a line from one apex to the other, okay, from one bust point to the other bust point, and we also have a line at the middle. Okay, so that's a style line. So I'm going to be drawing a line from this bust point to the other bust point. Okay, I'll be drawing a line on that. One bust point to the next bust point. Then I'm going to be also drawing a line at the midpoint here, the middle. Okay, so at the midpoint I would also be drawing a line. So here's the style line that we are going to be creating. So I've drawn a line from one bust point to the second bust point. I've also drawn a straight line in the middle. So we're going to be closing our side darts and our waist darts. Okay, so we'll close our side darts, we'll close our waist darts, then we can open up the style line. So I've drawn the style line, as you can see. So right now let's close our bust darts. To close our bust dart, we need to open up our waist darts. So look at this line, this center line on the waist. I will just open it up. Remember that you need to open up to the apex also. Once you are closing a dart, everything needs to stop at the apex. So I'm going to be cutting through this waistline. I'll cut through, touching the apex. So I'm just cutting through very close to the apex. So I'm at the apex already. So now I can close my side darts. Okay, and to close my side darts, I need to also extend these bust darts to touch the apex also. So just like you have been taught, you cross is one leg of the side darts, another leg of the side darts. Okay, so you just cross one leg over the other. Okay, so just cross one leg over the other. We've done this previously in the other video, so make sure it gets to the apex area and make sure it lays flat. Okay, make sure it lays flat. So I've closed up. I will just use my masking tape to hold it from behind. Okay, I'll just be holding it down like so. So we have closed our side darts for this part, this side of the pattern. So we need to close this other one too. Okay, and to do that, just like we did, I'm going to be cutting through the waistline. I'll cut through the waistline, touching the apex, like so. Then I can close my, extend your bust darts, your side darts, then cross one leg over the other. Okay, so I'll be crossing one leg over the other like so. So make sure it lays flat. So with my masking tape, I would also be holding it down from behind. Okay, so now we have succeeded in closing our side dart. We have transferred the side dart to the waist dart. Now if you observe the style line, the waist dart is also not present, which means that we are going to be closing our waist dart. And to do that, look at this allowance here. this allowance will be crossing one over the other like so. Okay, you can cross any one over the other. Have you seen that? We'll be crossing one over the other, and we'll do the same thing for this other side. We'll cross one over the other. So let's close up our waist dart also. So just lift it up like so and do it like this, so you can close from behind. Make sure it touches the line. So let's close our waist dart. So just take one over the other like so. Make sure it rests on the line. So you can decide to use your masking tape to hold it down. Okay, you can see I've held it down. Let's close the second dart, waist dart. We have closed the first waist dart, so let's close up the second one. Okay, remember you can close up from behind, you can also close up. So make sure it crosses like this, don't make it cross pass, just touching the other line. Okay, just on the line. Just on the line like so. So I'll just close. Okay, so you see we have closed our waist dart. We've also closed our bust dart. So now we can cut open the style line. We can cut open the style line. So starting from, I think I want to just put a masking tape behind to hold up this open part here. There's this part here. I just want to put a masking tape to hold it down. Okay, I'll be doing the same thing for this other side too, just to hold it in place. Not necessary though, but okay. So I have this now. So let's cut out our style line. So starting from the middle, from the midpoint, I'll just be cutting to the top part. Okay, do not cut through it. Okay, so I'm at this top part, so I'll cut from this point to the apex, from this point to the apex. Okay, so I'll just bend over like so. You can use a smaller scissors if you're working with a small pattern. So you cut touching the apex. Okay, so I've cut this other side, you can see. So this second side also, I'll just cut it through. Okay, so you can see here's a style line that we have been able to create. So we're going to trace this on our fabric, then we're going to close up. By the time we close up, we'll be having like a T seam line, a seam line coming from this point and going towards this point here, like a T, like the letter T. Okay, so that's the style line that we want to create exactly as it's appearing on the screen. So let's trace this on our fabric. So before tracing the style line on our fabric, we need to finish it up with another pattern paper. So just take any scrap paper, any piece of paper. So just place your pattern, place this pattern on it like so. Okay, so just place it on it. Make sure you have excess allowance at this down part for the wedge we'll be creating. So once you have done this, you can hold it down. The parts we are concerned about is where we have the style line. It mustn't get to every part of your pattern. Okay, so I'm just going to hold down. So just hold down at different intervals. Hold down. Okay, so I'm just holding down, making sure that my pattern lays flat. Okay, so just hold it down at different points. Okay, so I'm just going to hold it down like so. Okay, so I would also be holding down along this point here. Okay, along this points. So I've held down. Now I will just be tracing out exactly what I have by this armhole here, by the side, okay, along the down part. So when you get to this midpoint between this opening here, you can measure what you have, identify the midpoints. Like in this case, I have, okay, so I will just identify the midpoints. You can just take your tape like so. So here is the midpoint. Okay, so you can make that midpoint into a straight line downward. Okay, so here we have the straight line. So I'm going to be, let me bring it closer. So when I trace by the side, the same thing, I'll just trace out the armhole, the side, the down part, trace exactly what I have here. Then towards this midpoint, I will create a wedge. I'll create a wedge like this. I'll just create a wedge. Okay, you can say I did not cut it straight. Don't cut it straight. You create a wedge, then you continue. When we are done, we're going to trim off the excesses. So just continue along this point like so. Okay, so but this midpoint is very, very important. Make sure you create this wedge. Okay, so now I will just be tracing out. You can start from whatever points you want. Okay, so just trace out exactly what you have. Trim off the excesses. So along this point also, I'll just trim off the excesses. Along the side, the same thing. Okay, then along this down parts, you're just going to be trimming off just exactly what you have. Then follow the wedge shape you created. Follow that wedge shape. Okay, so continue your tracing. Okay, so here is what we have. Can you see? We are finished up. Look at how it looks like at the back. So we are finished up. So by the time we'll trace on our fabric like this. We're going to add all our allowances. Then we are going to be holding this in. We'll take this in like as if you want to sew your dart in. So we're going to take this part in, this straight part. Then we'll also close up this part too. Then it will form the style line that we have appearing on the screen. Okay, so let's take this now and trace on our fabric. Alright, so let's trace this pattern on our fabric. Okay, so this pattern is a full block, a full front block, so we will not need to put our fabric on fold. So just place it on your fabric like so, making sure you have extra allowances all around. So I'll be pinning down. So you want to also pin down. Okay, so just hold it in place like so. Then you want to add half an inch to the shoulder, to the armhole half an inch, to the side 1 inch, to the down part here you want to also add half an inch. Okay, you want to add half an inch to the side, to the armhole half an inch, to the side 1 inch, to the down part here you want to add half an inch. Okay, so I've traced out the pattern on my fabric. I've added all the necessary allowances. Okay, the next thing we want to do now is to use our tracing wheel. Remember that this is the part that we want to take in. We want to hold this part from here to here. We want to hold it together, then also from here to here. Okay, just refer back to the style line appearing on your screen. Okay, so once you have done this, I've pinned down. Before taking off your pattern, you want to what's the word now, you want to make these markings here reflect on your fabric, so that when you take off your fabric, you will know where and where to hold down. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is to extend this your dark leg. Extend it like so. Let it touch the fabric on both sides. Okay, on both sides. Then with your tracing wheel, you want to trace along this point here, stopping here, then coming this way. Like, you want to trace this exact shape you are having here. The exact shape you are having here, you want to trace it on your fabric. So just follow it like so. Stop here, come this way, then straight up like this and like this. So that is what I want to do right now. So I'm just going to be using so apply a level of pressure so that the markings would appear on the fabric. Okay, so exactly what I'm doing. Just take your time. With your tracing wheel, it is very easy. So just take your time. So I'm just going to be tracing all around. Okay, so at this point also I'll just come this way. Okay, then I'm going to trace out this part. Then we are almost done. So make sure you apply some force, so that once you lift your pattern, you will still find the markings. Okay, so here is what I have done. So right now I'll just be taking off my pattern, so I'm sure I should have the markings there. Okay, so I've taken off my pattern and I have the markings. You may not be able to see it because it's just some fainted dot lines, but I'll be using my pen and my ruler to make it more obvious for you to see. So I'm just marking out what we have here. So when I'm done marking out, you will surely see it. Okay, so here is the other part. So the top part. So just take your time, you don't want to rush it. Okay, then this other part too, I'll just be marking. Okay, and here is what we have. Okay, here we are soulmates. So I have made the marking, okay, on my fabric. You can see this is the exact shape we have on the pattern. Okay, now I'm going to be showing you how to sew it here before taking to my sewing machine, because it's kind of a little bit, tricky. So all you need to do is just to fold into 2 halves from the midpoint, from this sharp point here. Just fold it into 2. Okay, have you seen? Into 2. So I just flip downwards so I can show you more clearly. So just fold into 2. You can see, fold into 2. Then you want to sew the first line. You want to sew this first line from this down part to this point. Okay, you will sew this first line from this down part to this point. So I'll be using my pin to just hold it down temporarily, so you will see what I am trying to explain to you. So I've held down with it with my pin. I will just hold at different points. So you should hold down with a permanent stitch. Okay, you take to the sewing machine and you sew it down. Okay, so this is the first line you want to sew where I have my pins. You stop here. So once you have done that, you want to open up. You know it was half before into two, so you want to open up like so. You want to open up like this, and you want to sew the straight line. You know we have another line here. We have a straight line here at the top part. Okay, so you want to hold it together like this, and you want to sew on the straight line, making sure that it touches this midpoint here. So let me just hold down with my pin and you will see the outcome. So just try your hand on it. I'm sure you would get it. Okay, so I want to just hold down so I can show you what we have temporarily, and I will take to my sewing machine and sew. So I've pinned the straight part, and when we open up, you can see that it looks very, very close to, it looks like what we have on our screen. Okay, like a T shape, a line going downward and this way. Okay, and this bust area will pop up. Okay, so I'll just take my sewing machine and sew, removing my pins so we can have a more permanent stitch. Okay, all right, so mates, so here is the outcome of what we have. Okay, you can see the bust area popping up. Okay, and here is how the back looks like. You can see, if you want, you can trim off this excess here. You can reduce it. Okay, like so. And when you're sewing, you just hold down like this. You can also finish up with your interlocking. So this is what we have at the back, and at the front, let me just trim off. Okay, so at the front, this is the design that we have. Okay, you can see the bust region, you know, coming up. This is the essence of that manipulation. Okay, it's not just you joining, it's still, despite the style line you're creating, you are still able to maintain the fit of the initial pattern. Okay, so here is it, soulmates. So I'll see us in the next video where we'll be considering another style line using that manipulation. Thank you.